Center number 2 is going to focus on our argument writing unit, which starts today. Each day in class, you'll notice that we have been doing a different argument writing piece that's going to lead up to a bigger writing assignment that you'll do later in the quarter. This is also going to tie into our reading of the giver. So the first thing you're going to do is take a copy of this article that's titled Would You Move to Mars? And yours might look a little bit different. I think I cut and pasted this so that it's on the same page here. And you're going to look at two different sides of this viewpoint written in the format of a letter. Yes, Alex says she would move to Mars. And this is a no response. Mark rebutting or responding back to his friend Alex on why he does not think it's a good idea to go to Mars. And as you're reading, always thinking critically about looking at the arguments and who has better reasoning. You are going to be assigned a different role for being a text master. So let's start here at the top. One person within your group is going to be assigned the role of summarizer. Make sure you put your name on here and the title of the article. Your job is to prepare a brief summary of today's reading. Your group will start with your 1 to 2 minute statement that covers the key points, main highlights, and general idea of the reading. So here's where you'll keep track of 4 or 5 if you come up with more key points, and then a summary of the article. Somebody else in your group is going to be assigned the discussion director. And that job is to develop a list of questions that your group might want to discuss about the article. Don't worry about small details. Your task is to help people talk over big ideas in the reading and share their reactions. Usually, the best discussion questions come from your own thoughts, feelings, and concerns as you read, and this is where you can keep track of them. So think about when you're annotating. One of those ideas is to write questions down about what you're reading. So this is a good way to kind of compare what you're doing today to your annotating. And then there are some sample questions here to help you. You're also going to make, your job is to make a text-to-text connection. Is there another article or book or maybe even a news? I would compare that to maybe a newscast that you've seen that compares that. Make a connection to yourself and make a connection to elsewhere in the world. The third person's role is going to be the vocabulary enricher, and your job is to be on the lookout for a few especially important words in the reading. If you find words that are puzzling, unfamiliar, mark them up while you're reading, just like you normally would do. We would call these word gaps. You may also run across some familiar words that stand out in the reading. Maybe they're used in a different way or they're repeated multiple times. So I would suggest that as you're reading, you highlight them, and then you're going to go back and keep track of what paragraph you found them in, the word, a meaning for it, an example of that word, and a sketch to go along with it that you're going to share with the group. The fourth job here is the webmaster. Your job is to take the information and create a graphic organizer or a web. You could use a chart. However you want to. You could use a Venn diagram. Keywords, phrases, and examples from the reading to show how the key points of the information from the article could be organized. And then the last person in your group is going to be the researcher. After reading about what the article, you're going to come up with some extended thinking. Think about things that you might need to go Google. This might be some of the numbers and stats where you have to research maybe some comparisons for it, or questions you have about the topic that weren't answered in the article. So you're going to put a couple questions here and use that time to look up some new ideas. On the back, after you have gone through your discussion, and I would say everybody should read the article a good 15 to 20 minutes, reading and then doing your job, and another 10 minutes then to do your discussion. Then all of you on the back can work together, and you're going to compare Alex and Mark's viewpoints and really looking at what were their claims and what were some of the evidence that they provided to support their claim, how they addressed a counter argument, and then that rebuttal is what do they say in response to this. So For example, when you read about Mark, he's going to say, and while I read about how careful Mars One is being in putting together groups of colonists who can work together, what is the counter argument, the rebuttal to that? What does he say after that to kind of combat this careful thinking? And then after analyzing both sides of the argument, which side are you on? And you're going to explain in a complete sentence form why you think that. I would expect that this center is going to take your group the entire time, but if for some reason you should finish early, you can work on your owl crate.